I'm going to die soon. And honestly, I'm not afraid anymore. But I am terrified for you. I'm 78 years old, and what I'm about to tell you will probably make you uncomfortable. Good. Because comfort is exactly what's killing your dreams, your relationships, and your one shot at a meaningful life. I've watched 3 of my closest friends die in the last 18 months. Good men. Smart men. Men who did everything society told them to do. They worked hard, saved money, followed the rules, and waited patiently for their turn to finally live. That turn never came. They died waiting. They died with their music still inside them. And the worst part? They saw it coming. In those final weeks, when the hospital visits became more frequent and the prognosis became clearer, every single one of them said some version of the same thing. I thought I had more time. I should have done it when I had the chance. I was always going to do that next year. Next year never came for them, and it might not come for you either. I need you to understand something that nobody else is going to tell you this directly. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. You are not guaranteed next year. You are not even guaranteed the next hour. Every single breath you take is a gift that can be revoked without warning, without negotiation, without any regard for your plans or your excuses or your very reasonable explanations for why now isn't the right time. I learned this lesson in the most brutal way possible, and it took me until I was 57 years old to finally get it through my thick skull. I was successful by every conventional measure. I had built a career that people envied. I had money in the bank, a beautiful home, the respect of my industry. I had achieved everything I set out to achieve when I was young and hungry and full of ambition. And I was absolutely miserable. Not the kind of misery you can point to and explain. Not depression or sadness. Just a hollow, gnawing emptiness that I couldn't shake no matter how many deals I closed or how many zeros appeared in my bank account. I kept thinking that the next achievement would fill that void. The next promotion, the next purchase, the next validation from someone whose opinion I valued. It never did. The void just kept getting bigger. Then one Tuesday morning in March, I got a phone call that changed everything. My younger brother Marcus had collapsed at work. Brain aneurysm. He was 49 years old, ran marathons, ate healthy, did everything right. By the time I got to the hospital, he was already gone. Just like that. 1 minute he was in a meeting discussing marketing strategies, and the next minute he ceased to exist. I sat in that hospital waiting room for hours, numb, trying to process what had just happened. And that's when the real horror hit me. Marcus and I had been planning to take a trip together for 15 years. Ever since our father died, we talked about going to Ireland, tracing our family roots, spending real time together away from work and obligations. We were always going to do it, next year. We had a standing joke about it. Every Christmas, one of us would say, "Next year, we're really doing Ireland," and we'd laugh and agree and then go back to our busy lives. 15 years of next years, and now there would never be a next year. All those conversations we were going to have, all that time we were going to spend, all those memories we were going to create, they were just gone. Erased. Not because we didn't care about each other, but because we both believed we had unlimited time. We were both so busy building our careers, managing our responsibilities, doing the things that seemed important in the moment. And now my brother was dead, and I would give everything I owned, every dollar I ever earned, every achievement I ever accomplished, just to have one more conversation with him. That's when I started to see the pattern everywhere. I started really looking at the people around me, the lives they were living, the choices they were making. And what I saw terrified me. Everyone was sleepwalking through their own lives, including me. We were all in this bizarre collective trance, following scripts that someone else wrote for us, pursuing goals that we never really examined, sacrificing today for a tomorrow that we just assumed would arrive. I saw people in their 30s working 80-hour weeks to make partner at firms they didn't even like, telling themselves it would all be worth it someday. I saw people in their 40s stuck in marriages that had been dead for years, staying together for reasons they couldn't even articulate anymore. I saw people in their 50s who had never pursued their real passions because they were too busy being responsible, too busy doing what they were supposed to do. And I saw people in their 60s and 70s, the ones who had made it to retirement, who were supposed to be living the dream, and you know what? Most of them were lost. They had spent 40 years working toward retirement, and when they finally got there, they realized they had no idea who they were anymore outside of their job titles and their routines. Here's what nobody tells you about life until it's too late. The script you're following, the one that says work hard, climb the ladder, save for retirement, and then finally live, it's completely backwards. It's designed to keep you productive and compliant and profitable for other people, not to help you live a rich, meaningful, fully expressed life. The system needs you to believe that happiness is always just around the corner, always one more achievement away, because if you actually stopped and took stock and realized that you're already living your life right now, you might make different choices. You might prioritize differently. You might say no to things that don't serve you. And that would be very inconvenient for all the people who benefit from your compliance. I'm not talking about some conspiracy. I'm talking about the simple fact that we've built a society that values productivity over presence, achievement over experience, accumulation over appreciation. And most of us never question it until it's too late. After Marcus died, I did something that everyone thought was crazy. I was 57 years old, at the peak of my earning potential, and I walked away from my career. Not retired, not scaled back, I actually walked away from a job that paid me more money than I ever imagined making when I was young. People thought I had lost my mind. My colleagues said I was throwing away my legacy. My financial advisor literally tried to stage an intervention. But here's what they didn't understand. I had finally done the math, and the math was terrifying. If I was lucky, I had maybe 25 good years left. 25 years where I would still have my health, my energy, my mental sharpness. And I had already wasted 30 of those years building something that didn't actually matter to me. I didn't want to waste another day. So I left. And I started doing all the things I had been putting off for next year. I traveled to every place I had always wanted to see but never had time for. I reconnected with old friends I had lost touch with because I was too busy working. I started painting again, something I loved as a young man but abandoned because it wasn't practical. I volunteered at a literacy center, teaching adults to read, which gave me more genuine satisfaction than any business deal I ever closed. I became deeply involved in my nieces' and nephews' lives, actually showing up for them in ways I had never shown up for anyone. And most importantly, I stopped postponing joy. I stopped waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, the right level of achievement before I allowed myself to be happy. These last 21 years have been the most alive I've ever felt. And here's the cruel irony that keeps me up at night. I'm happier now, at 78, with my body falling apart and my time running out, than I ever was at 35 when I had everything ahead of me. And the only difference is awareness. I know my time is limited now. I can feel it. I can see it in the mirror every morning. And that awareness makes every day precious in a way it never was when I thought I was invincible. But you're still living like you're invincible. You're still making decisions as if you have unlimited time. You're still putting off the things that matter, the experiences you want to have, the relationships you want to deepen, the risks you want to take, the person you want to become. You're still waiting for someday. And someday is killing you. Let me tell you about my friend Robert. We worked together for 20 years, built our careers side by side. Robert was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He had this gift for seeing solutions that nobody else could see. But he was also deeply unhappy in his marriage. His wife was a good person, but they had grown into completely different people over the years. They barely spoke. They slept in separate rooms. They were roommates managing a household, not partners sharing a life. Robert stayed because he thought he was doing the right thing. He had made a commitment. He had responsibilities. He worried about what people would think. He told himself he would figure it out later, after the kids were grown, after retirement, after he had more time to think clearly. 2 years ago, Robert had a massive heart attack while mowing his lawn. He survived, barely. Spent weeks in the hospital, months in recovery. And you know what happened? His wife visited him exactly 3 times. 3 times in 2 months. She was polite, cordial, but there was no love there, no real concern. She had her own life, her own friends, her own routine that didn't include him. Robert recovered physically, and the first thing he did was file for divorce. He's 69 years old now, starting over, and he told me recently that his only regret is that he didn't do it 30 years ago. 30 years. He spent 30 years living a lie because he was afraid, because he was waiting for the right time, because he thought he had unlimited chances to get it right. How many years are you going to give to something that's not working? How long are you going to stay in a job that's draining your soul because it pays well? How long are you going to put off the creative work you dream about because you're not sure you're good enough yet? How long are you going to avoid difficult conversations because you're afraid of conflict? How long are you going to wait to tell someone you love them because you're scared they might not feel the same way? Every day you wait is a day you're never getting back. Every opportunity you postpone might not be there next year. Every person you're taking for granted could be gone tomorrow. This isn't pessimism. This is reality. And the sooner you accept this reality, the sooner you can start making different choices. I want you to do something for me right now. Think about your parents. If they're still alive, when was the last time you had a real conversation with them? Not a quick phone call about logistics or a brief visit where you were distracted by your phone. A real conversation where you actually listened to their stories, asked about their lives, told them what they mean to you. If your parents are still alive, you probably have somewhere between 0 and 30 years left with them. That sounds like a lot until you break it down. If you see them once a month, that's 12 visits a year. If you have 20 years left, that's 240 more times you'll see your parents before they die. 240. That's it. And that's if you're lucky. That's if they live long and stay healthy and you actually make the effort to see them every month. The reality is probably far less. How many of those visits are you going to waste being distant, being distracted, being too caught up in your own problems to really be present? How many conversations are you going to put off until next time? Because next time isn't guaranteed. My father died when I was 51. And I thought I had been a good son. I called regularly. I visited on holidays. I helped out when he needed something. But I never really talked to him. I never asked him about his life, his dreams, his regrets. I never told him how much he meant to me because I was too uncomfortable with that level of vulnerability. I thought we had time. I thought there would be a moment, maybe when I was older, when that kind of conversation would feel more natural. He died of a stroke on a Wednesday afternoon. No warning. No goodbyes. No final words. Just here one moment and gone the next. And I will live with the weight of those unsaid words for the rest of my life. Don't do this to yourself. Don't wait for the perfect moment to tell people what they mean to you. Don't assume you'll have another chance. If there's someone in your life who matters to you, tell them today. Call them right now. Not later. Not after you finish reading this. Now, here's another truth that's going to make you uncomfortable. You're probably not going to do anything different after reading this. You're going to nod along, maybe feel a little emotional, think, yeah, I should really make some changes, and then you're going to go right back to living exactly the way you've been living. I know this because I've had these conversations with hundreds of people over the years, and maybe 5% actually change anything. The rest just go back to sleep. They go back to the comfortable numbness of their routines, the familiar patterns of putting things off, the safe prison of their excuses. And I understand why. Change is scary. The unknown is terrifying. It's so much easier to stay in the life you know, even if it's not the life you want, than to risk everything for something that might not work out. But here's what you need to understand. By not choosing, you're still choosing. By not taking risks, you're risking everything that matters. By waiting for certainty, you're guaranteeing regret. I have a grandson who's 28 years old. Brilliant kid. Talented musician. Could have pursued music professionally if he wanted to. Instead, he's working a corporate job that he hates because it's stable, because it pays well, because it's what he's supposed to do. He practices guitar maybe once a month now. Used to practice for hours every day. He tells me he's going to get back into music seriously once he's more established in his career, once he has more money saved, once he feels more secure. I look at him and I see myself at that age, making the same rationalizations, building the same prison, brick by brick. And it breaks my heart because I know how this story ends. He's going to wake up one day, 20 or 30 years from now, and realize that he traded his passion for security and ended up with neither. The job that seemed so stable will eventually eliminate his position, or become irrelevant, or just grind him down until he's a shell of who he used to be. And the music will be gone, not just the opportunity to pursue it professionally, but the skill itself, the connection to that part of himself. It will be too late to get it back. What is it for you? What's the thing you're putting off? The dream you're deferring, the version of yourself you're planning to become someday? What are you trading for the illusion of security? Because I promise you, there is no security. There never was. The stable job can disappear tomorrow. The careful plans can be destroyed by circumstances beyond your control. The future you're sacrificing everything for might never arrive. The only thing that's real is right now. This moment, this day, this decision you're making about how to spend your precious, limited time. I've been thinking a lot about legacy lately, which I suppose is natural when you're my age. And I've realized that everything I thought mattered about legacy was wrong. I used to think legacy was about achievement, about leaving behind something impressive, something that would make people remember your name. I wanted to build something that would last, to make an impact that would outlive me. But none of that matters. Nobody's going to remember the deals I closed, or the money I made, or the titles I held. That's all going to disappear within a generation, maybe less. You know what my real legacy is? It's the conversation I had with my nephew last year when he was going through a divorce and didn't think he was going to make it through. It's the time I spent teaching my granddaughter to paint and watching her discover a love for something creative. It's the fact that I reconciled with my sister after 10 years of not speaking, and we got to have 5 good years before her health started declining. It's the volunteer work I do every week, teaching people to read, watching their worlds expand as they gain a skill that most of us take for granted. These small moments, these human connections, these instances of showing up for people when it mattered, that's the legacy that actually counts. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need money or status or achievement to build that kind of legacy. You just need to be present. You just need to care. You just need to choose people over productivity, connection over accomplishment, meaning over money. But our entire society is designed to make you do the opposite. Everything around you is screaming that you need to achieve more, earn more, accomplish more. Social media is showing you everyone else's highlight reel and making you feel like you're falling behind. The economy is structured to keep you anxious and striving and never quite secure enough. Your job is demanding more and more of your time and energy. And somewhere in all of that noise, you're losing yourself. You're losing the relationships that matter. You're losing the time you could be spending on things that bring you genuine joy. You're losing years that you will never get back. And for what? So you can retire at 65 with a decent nest egg and then try to figure out who you are and what makes you happy. So you can look back at your life and measure it by titles and salary increases and square footage? So you can spend your last years regretting all the things you were too busy to do? I'm not saying quit your job and live on a beach somewhere. I'm not saying money doesn't matter or that responsibility isn't important. I'm saying that you need to get your priorities straight before it's too late. I'm saying that there's a balance you're probably not striking, and every day that goes by makes it harder to correct course. Work matters, but it's not the most important thing. Money matters, but it's not the most important thing. Security matters, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is how you're spending your days, who you're spending them with, whether you're building a life that you actually want to live or just sleepwalking through someone else's script of what your life should look like. Here's a question I ask myself every single morning now, and I want you to start asking yourself the same thing. If I died tonight, would I be satisfied with how I spent today? Not was today productive. Not did I accomplish everything on my list. Just, was today a day worth living? Did I connect with someone I care about? Did I do something that mattered to me? Did I experience something beautiful or meaningful or joyful? Did I move closer to the person I want to be, or did I just go through the motions? Most days, if I'm being honest, the answer is yes now. But for the first 57 years of my life, the answer would have been no almost every single day. I was productive. I was successful. I was responsible. But I wasn't really living. I was just preparing to live, always preparing, never quite ready to actually start. Don't waste your life preparing to live. Start living right now. Today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you have more money or more time or more confidence. Now. Call someone you love and tell them. Book the trip you've been dreaming about. Start the creative project you've been putting off. Have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Make the change you know you need to make. Take the risk that terrifies you. Because I promise you, the regret of trying and failing is nothing compared to the regret of never trying at all. The pain of putting yourself out there and getting rejected is nothing compared to the pain of wondering what might have been. The fear you feel right now is nothing compared to the fear you'll feel when you're running out of time and you realize you wasted it being afraid. I'm 78 years old. I can feel my body breaking down. My mind is still sharp, thank God, but my body is giving me clear signals that my time is running out. I have aches and pains that never go away. I tire more easily. I can see the finish line now, and it's not that far away. 10 years if I'm lucky. Maybe 15 if I'm blessed beyond measure. Probably less. And I'm okay with that. I really am. Because I know that when my time comes, I won't be lying there full of regrets about the things I didn't do. I won't be thinking about all the trips I didn't take or the conversations I didn't have or the risks I didn't take. I've lived these last 21 years fully. I've squeezed every drop of meaning and joy and connection out of them. I've said the things that needed to be said. I've done the things that mattered to me. I've shown up for the people I love. When my time comes, I'll be able to close my eyes knowing that I really lived, not just existed. Can you say the same? If your time came tomorrow, would you be at peace with the life you've lived? Or would you be full of regrets about all the things you meant to do someday? The choice is yours, and you're making it right now, today, with how you're spending your time and energy and attention. You're either building a life you'll be proud of, or you're building a collection of regrets. There's no third option. There's no pause button. The clock is ticking, and it's ticking faster than you think. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep sleepwalking through your life, following the script, doing what you're supposed to do, waiting for someday? Or are you going to wake up right now and start making different choices? I can't make this decision for you. But I'm begging you, from the bottom of my heart, from the perspective of someone who wasted decades before figuring this out, please don't wait as long as I did. Please don't waste 57 years before you start really living. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from Marcus's death. Learn from Robert's wasted decades. Learn from every cautionary tale I've shared with you. Your time is limited. The people you love won't be here forever. The opportunities you have right now might not be there next year. Wake up. The life you're waiting to live needs to start today. Not someday. Today.